I think after the visit of Assisi? One more of these churches. The display of church wealth and ostentation is a blatant contradiction to the essential teachings of Christianity. In the Bible we found numerous references that criticize the excessive emphasis on material possessions and promote a simple, humble life. Jesus himself says in Matthew, "Do not store up for yourselves treasures on earth, where moth and rust destroy, and where thieves break in and steal, but store up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rusty destroy, and where thieves do not break in and steal. For where your treasure is, there your heart will be also." These words, especially the last sentence, are a clear call to humility and to focus on spiritual values rather than worldly wealth. Jesus himself lived in poverty and preached charity, support for the weak and poor, and turning away from material goods. A church that indulges in wealth and ostentation moves away from these central messages. Another example in the story of the rich young man in Matthew, where Jesus says, "If you want to be perfect, go sell what you have and give to the poor, and you will have treasure in heaven, and come, follow me." The young man went away sad because he had many possessions, and Jesus commented, "Truly, I say to you, it will be hard for a rich man to enter the kingdom of heaven." And again, I say to you, it is easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to enter the kingdom of God. These passages illustrate that wealth and attachment to material goods can hinder spiritual development. They emphasize that true faith and devotion to God are expressed through the humility and self-denial. A particularly striking example of a life of poverty and humility is Francis of Assisi. St. Francis embodied the Christian ideals of poverty and simplicity in an exemplary way. He renounced all worldly possessions to live a life of total devotion to God and service to those in need. Francis of Assisi is famous for his love of creation, his renunciation of wealth, and his devotion to the poor. His way of life and teachings are in stark contrast to a church and the Franciscan Brotherhood founded in his name that flaunts wealthy and luxury in Assisi. Not to mention the countless merchants who presumably make their fortunes off Francis. Imitating Francis means living the principles of simplicity, humility, and service to others. A church and brotherhood that indulges in splendor and wealth ignores not only the teachings of Jesus, but also the example of one of its greatest saints. Overall, the display of ecclesiastical wealth and ostentation not only disregards the fundamental principles of Christianity, but also represents a disdain for the work of saints like Francis of Assisi. This discrepancy between the teachings and the lived example of a church in luxury undermines the credibility and integrity of the faith itself. True faith is not shown in pomp, but in humility and service to others. And today, 40 years ago, was my very first, most terrible day in my life. Ciao, Papa.
Ella no